Oh, hi there. I haven't done a video for a little while. It's been probably 6 weeks. I feel compelled today to do a video, so here we are. It's quite late. It's 29th of July. Must be 11 o'clock at night now. Obviously, I've got to put a bit of video footage. We're outside Devon Partnership Trust, so it's in the background to give us a bit of foreground. So we're at Exeter Devon Partnership Trust, CMHT, headquarters for Devon. And it covers all of Exeter area. Today's video, or tonight's video, is more of the same but with some updates. The update is, in the last week or two, I've been in contact with a chap who's having serious problems with his mental health. He's also having serious problems trying to access services. He's also being punished because he can't access the services. As I've said before, we fall into this catchment area of you're either too ill, too complexed, or you're not ill enough. Net result, you fall into what's called the middle ground, where you can't gain any access, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be too ill and not access services? And a lot of people fall in that. It's called the middle gap, mental health gap. So tonight I'm here with a chap. He doesn't wish to be videoed at the moment, and I have to respect his wishes. But he's prepared to talk to me. I must state this as a disclaimer. I'm not trying to self-promote my page or anything other than the truth, which is what my site's about, etc., etc. I'm going to start talking to him and introduce him to you. As I say, it's only his voice because he's sat beside me at the entrance of the grounds. The reason why we're outside the grounds is a security guard said we can't film inside. It's not suitable, so I have to agree with that and say that's fine, we'll go outside. Are we good to go outside? Yes, that's fine. So that's why we're sat outside in a bit of a ridiculous sort of position, but I need something in the background to give some kind of focal point. So I'm going to introduce the chap now. He's called Mackenzie, and he's going to explain to you where he's at with his mental health, which bears a lot of resemblance to a lot of problems that people with complex issues are trying to seek help and get the right treatment to help them improve the quality of their mental health, to keep them in a safe place and, you know, to help them in the long run, which is obviously a problem for a lot of people out there who can't seek help. So, introduce yourself to me. Tell me a bit about you, Mackenzie.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie. I have a lot of complex needs, including attachment disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders, and I'm also autistic.
Right. You're on medication. I don't need to know the dosage.
Just antidepressants, really. That's
which
normally,
is sertraline?
Yeah, sertraline.
Right, I guessed as much. Okay.
It's normally the starter drug that they give you, isn't
yes,
it?
Yes, it is at the moment.
Yeah, I've been on waiting list for adult social care for over 2.5 years.
Right.
When I lived in Torbay, they refused me, said that I wasn't ill enough, basically. I was very capable, was their words.
Right.
Went to my GP when I moved to Exeter, struggling really badly with finding groups and just mental health in general.
But this puts you in a place where it doesn't help your mental health, does it? It makes matters worse.
Yeah, they kind of shifted me around a bit as well.
Right.
Just go to TalkWorks, and then TalkWorks were like, you're too complicated, which everybody seems to be getting.
Right, well, I'm going to stop you there, if I may. Well, you've mentioned TalkWorks. Well, TalkWorks is a service where you fall into this middle gap where they will process and assess people like yourself, like myself, and they will go, oh, well, we can't see you, we can't help you because you're too complicated and too complex, so you're not entitled to access our service, so you're technically too unwell to access our service. Would you say that rung a bit of truth?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes all we need is just people to listen to us. Really.
Yes.
Everybody needs that.
Yes.
Yes. No matter how complex you are, everybody needs the same thing. Sometimes just somebody.
Well, I think when you're told that you can go to a service like TalkWorks and it gives you hope and hope that you can get some help you desperately need. For me personally, I find it a rejection when they turn around and say, well, actually, you can't come to this service. You're too complicated and too complex. So technically, you're too unwell for them to process you. And what that does, it makes you feel very abandoned, discarded and worthless.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So you tried talk work. So what else is going on?
I got put on the waiting list for the adult mental health, community mental health, CMHT. That was a long wait. Finally managed to get an appointment, but that's got to be sorted out.
Right.
Again, it's on lists again. You after your assessment,
Yeah.
on the list again.
Well, the thing is, you end up on a list, and it's like like spinning plates. You go round in circles, and it goes on and on and on. And 1 minute you're waiting for 3 weeks, and before you know it, could be even 6 months, 12 months, a year or more. So how's that going with you now?
Well, they actually messaged me. It was Friday, just gone, and told me that they were short-staffed. And the appointment was going to be rearranged for the 13th.
Right, well, 13th for what?
13th of August.
Right, so we don't know what's happening with that at the moment, so you need to keep me up to date of where that goes and whether you get your appointment.
Yeah.
Can you explain for the video, which I've already done, but I need it to come from you, can you explain to me when you're in crisis, in mental state, mental crisis, total meltdown of mental health, and in desperate need, anxious, depressed, suicidal, self-harm, can you try to explain to me, if you're having a bad day and you need to access services, bear in mind we're outside Devon Partnership Trust now, generally to go in there you need to be into here, you need to be referred.
Yeah.
What options are available for you in Exeter when you're in full mental crisis? What departments and services are available to you?
Well, you've got the A&E obviously, which it's like 8 to 12 hours waiting time just to be sent home with a leaflet.
Yes.
And you've got this walk-in service.
Yes.
Called the Moorings.
Can you say that again, because the car's
Sorry. We've got a walk-in service. Which anyone can access. They can walk in whenever they need.
Yes, that's right. It's in the Moorings is in the grounds of here.
Yep. You can go there if you need emotional support.
Right.
Just someone to chat to.
Can you explain for the video how well that's how well that's gone on for you?
I've had them for quite a while, a couple of years. They've always been fine until recently when I've started using the Exeter service. And they've banned me at the moment. Right,
so you're on a ban. Can you explain why you're on a ban? For what reasons? What have you done wrong to be on a ban?
Basically, being unwell and fighting for my rights.
Well, that's very interesting. Obviously, for the video, it's difficult for me to call that card, but I will give my opinion on it. Often that is the case, what's happened to you. I think that situation and response you get from the moorings happens to quite a few people quite often, so that rings to be true. So what else happens?
It's what's the most heartbreaking thing is that they said that one of the managers actually turned around and said that I was too complicated for their service and that I need to access an additional service or another service. But what do you access? Right.
So you're told that you're too complicated. If you're too complicated, don't they understand that most people with mental health, with various conditions, I'm not going to name any of them, but all the mental health issues people suffer with, I would say that a high percentage, 99% of people struggle with it. It's reaction, response is a big thing for you, and you take it hard. When you're dejected, pushed aside, promise stuff what doesn't get actioned, promise referrals for therapy and counselling which don't get actioned, that doesn't help you.
It almost goes back to what you've said in one of your previous videos, where it's literally a lip service. You can go in there crying your eyes out, and they'll give you a time limit, and then it's sort of go home now, done and dusted, or go to A&E.
Right. So what they're doing is they're saying, there's nothing we can do. Like many of these services, you go to these services and they say there's nothing we can do. So they then go to the default setting, which is one or two places. They'll send you to A&E to sit for many hours to be assessed. They'll tell you to ring an ambulance. They will tell you to ring first response. But I find when you ring all of these services, first response, the moorings, etc., site liaison is where you get assessed in A&E, they will simply push you to another service, so you end up going round in circles.
Yeah, I agree.
right? So you find what you're just going from one service to another and not actually progressing and getting some structured help.
Pretty much, and now I can't actually access the moorings. I'm actually literally on my own.
Right.
I've got no family around me. I've got no friends, and I think that's going to affect me quite badly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will affect you because you feel rejected and discarded. You feel like you're not being heard.
Yeah, and I think it's the loneliness as well, and I think a lot of people can relate to that have mental health issues.
Yes, I would agree. And for the video, I know all too well what Mackenzie's going through. These similarities, I think anyone who's watching these videos of mine with complex mental issues will probably more than likely agree that they've also been through the same scenario where they're being pushed from pillar to post. They're being promised help which doesn't get actioned. That department then sends you to another department who does exactly the same. Net result, you could go around for days, if not weeks, trying to get help. And you find yourself in a situation where you end up back at the beginning where you started. You've gained nothing, no help, no support, no counselling, no therapy.
I think it actually drives you insane, going around repeating yourself to people, and they say, could you go and see this person or go to this group, and we're just sat there spewing on the floor.
Yeah.
And, saying what.
So you find yourself in an emotional state.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got to stop talking because there's a car coming past. So you end up in this revolving circle of keep offloading your emotions and upset and going round in circles and not moving forward. I would agree with you. I find this is a very frustrating situation. It feels to me, and I'm sure for many other people watching the video, that this is happening to most people. And it's very damaging because you're not actually getting the help you're entitled to. If you've been diagnosed with an enduring complex mental health issue and you're on medications, you've been diagnosed with ongoing enduring conditions, yet you still can't get no help. I find that extremely frustrating. Well, for the video today, there has been some contact with Mackenzie and the moorings today, and it didn't go very well for him. I didn't attend because I don't want to be in a position where people would judge me as trying to, manage him. I'm not managing him. I must state this as a video. I'm simply trying to share my experience and many other experiences to give Mackenzie the tools to understand that, these services are very hard and challenging to access and we can't get any help. So the bigger picture is I am saying the same. I would agree with Mackenzie that what he's saying to me is true and this needs to change. Sidelining slightly, you've got all these services in Exeter, as I've said before, mentioned before. They're huge services. There's a lot of money being funded in these services, and I want to know what's available for people. What are people allowed to access? Where is all this money being spent? In the daytime, the car park's full of staff. There's even a lot of staff here now, and it's 11:30 in the evening. There's still lots of cars here. There's lots of staff. We've had a security guard come out and asked us to kindly remove, which I agree. We're allowed to sit out here and film. And the situation goes on and on and on. There's plenty of money here. There is resources. There's people on high paid jobs. I'm not blaming them directly. Some of them do challenging jobs, and I'm sure there are some who do some good jobs. But it seems in my experience and the people I speak to concerning their mental health and ability to access these services, that nothing's getting done. Nothing's getting actioned. It's simply lip service. Push you to another in-tray, and on it goes and on it goes. Anyone who knows Exeter knows this place is large. It's a headquarters for Devon, and I want to challenge mental health services. What are you providing in the time of need? As an example, tonight it's 20 to 12 at night now. Mackenzie or myself or anyone else tonight cannot access anything in this building whatsoever. The moorings they cannot access. A lot of people will criticise and say you can go to the moorings for one-to-one support. You can, but they have restricted their opening hours. They were open Monday to Friday to midnight. I'm not too sure on the weekend timescale. They've now cut back their service to 10:30. So they're actually putting people in a worse position. Mental health doesn't run by a clock. They can't gain access.
Putting on the website says that the moorings is a walk-in service. It
Right.
doesn't actually state how many times you can use the service. Yet I was put on a 4-day-a-week plan. I could only go there 4 times a week. And then I would have phone calls once a day for 45 minutes. But then they changed that as well. They reduced that down to 2 nights a week.
Well, I'm not going to put words into you. I'm not going to put words into your mind, but I feel, me personally, that they're restricting your access.
Yeah, I agree.
Are they in a way punishing you?
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that because I've stood up for my rights.
Right. So you should.
I now can't go back into the moorings for 4 weeks.
Well, that's a long time if you're in crisis.
Yeah, and I phoned the moorings last night in Torquay, and the man that answered the phone turned around and told me that, I'm sorry, we cannot talk to you. We've been instructed not to talk to you. I'm going to have to hang the phone up. Now,
how does that give you emotional support if he's refusing to talk to you over telephone? He knows you can't go into the centre down Torquay because it's too far for you to travel at that time. So how is he helping you by simply saying you can't access the service and ending the phone call?
And he knows full well that other services are overloaded, like Samaritans, and you only get 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know you do. They like to push to the Samaritans. The reason why for the video why they push to the Samaritans, emotional support with the Samaritans, technically, is a very old service in this country, and it's 24 hours. It's done by very dedicated volunteers who dedicate to helping people, but they have no access to refer you or get you the specialist help or support. All they can literally do is talk to you. There's no practical solutions. They are a good service, but there's nothing they can do immediately. I guess if you're in real crisis, they could ring an ambulance for you, and if you're in danger, they could ring the police, but that is it. They can't provide anything else. It's not their fault. Right, so we've rounded up the video there a little bit because we're limited on time scale for YouTube, but is there anything you want to add to this evening? How are you feeling today, or how you feel for tomorrow? And how do you feel about your welfare and your safety? How do you feel about tonight or tomorrow? And how do you feel about your safety?
It's a battle.
Right.
Every day at the moment. Waking up with severe anxiety and not wanting to live is a daily thing at the moment. Also the thought that I'm being punished for just standing up for my rights. And
well, that's not having a good effect on you, is it? You know.
No, and even when I try to resolve the situation, it's all very blurred in a sense of that I've got to comply with what they want.
Yeah, well, for the video, he's just mentioned to comply what they want to do and what they want to offer to him. And I find there's a controlling aspect to that. I mean, you've come to me because you're asking for some help. Well, I'm not a professional, as you know. And I've informed you that I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional. I have no standing on getting you the help. But what I have got is my life lived experience of the challenges with mental health. And for the video, I'm hoping that, you know, I want to help you in the respect that I offer you my experience, like so many other people with complex mental health in Exeter at the moment, with the tools for you to try and seek help which you are justified in trying to receive. I want from it for you to have the tools to be able to push forward and try and get the support and help which I feel, in fact I know, you desperately need.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Also, a lot of autistic people would understand that it's also very frustrating because not all autistic people can communicate very well.
No, I know.
Like, I can talk and some people can't.
Yeah, but that's the thing I said to you earlier on today. I said, you know, just because you're well spoken and you do come over okay, people shouldn't use that to sort of judge you, that because you're quite articulated and you can speak,
you don't need support.
Absolutely. And I would say also that most people with complex issues like you're diagnosed and stuff are big thinkers. You think about the bigger picture, and you know, you're on a level with that. And I think people in mental health services should take you very serious.
I used to like going to the moorings,
right?
Because You know, it was sort of kind of like a little routine, and
it gives you somewhere to go and offload.
Yeah, and now
You feel punished?
I feel punished, and
Right.
and something that they actually caused as well.
Right.
I'm also being reduced on time limits.
Yeah, well, also for the video, there has been some problems today with him at the moorings, and at this moment in time, I'm not going to go into details of that, other than, honestly, they've treated him very poorly. They've given no options, really. And to round up the video tonight, I'm very concerned, and also a friend of mine who's helping with me is very concerned for Mackenzie's health and safety and his welfare. We're concerned that if he doesn't get the support he needs, I'm very concerned that he could end up in a situation where things will escalate and he could harm himself and put himself at risk. So I am deeply concerned. That is why I'm doing this video today. I've had his full consent to do this video. He's in total agreement to do this video with me. As I said at the beginning of the video, he wasn't very happy about putting his face to the video at this stage, and I have to respect his wishes. He's agreed to do a voice video with me, and he's not very comfortable with a video at the moment. But if he asks for a video update with his face visually, then I'm happy to do so. But it's only on his terms. If he doesn't want to do it, I am fine with that, and I accept that. So before someone starts digging in and going, oh, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, I am doing nothing from this video other than exposing the truth of these unpleasant people here. This is what my page is about. It's not public funded. I have no funds. I make no money out of it. I make nothing. No money at all. I wish to gain nothing from this other than what my page is about, which is exposing the truth. If I get some help at a later date, then okay. But I'm not chasing for that. I have actually now become the other side of the table, where I feel I want to help people to gain access. And that is my intentions by these videos. And they will continue to do so. So I've rounded it up. Thank you, Mackenzie, for being honest. Okay. If you want to do another video, you're more than welcome. You've only got to ask me. And if you want to put your face to the video, it's utterly your choice. And if you don't want to, I'm 100% agreeable. If you don't want a video, then we won't do one. It's your choice. Because people will judge and say that something's not right here. What's not right here is this building in front of me and this service. They employ a lot of staff. There's a lot of money. They got bully boy tactics from the security people here. You daren't complain, because you'll be walked off the premises. This is a place of illness. It doesn't matter if you've got a broken leg or if you're mental health illness. This is a place of illness. It's mental health illness. It should be took as serious as breaking a leg or an arm. Yet we're all ostracised and alienated and pushed out the door. It has to change. It has to change, and people need to pass comment and share their experience by passing comment, or they can post their own videos. Because if not, we're never going to make change with these guys. They're going to rule for the rest of your life. It has to stop. And I am very passionate about it. So we'll leave it at that for tonight. Thank you, Mackenzie.
That's okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your honesty.